For the people who've been around the channel for a while, you probably heard this story already, but because there are new people subscribing to the channel every day, I'm going to recap this story anyway. If you don't know who I am, my name is Anfernee, and I used to play Division I basketball at a high major school called Auburn University. And the days that I played basketball were from the years 2016 to 2020, and I think that NIL, or name, image, and likeness, came out around 2021 or 2022. So this video is meant to shed some light on how NIL works for people who were not in college when NIL actually came out, because I actually do still get paid from NIL every year, and I think that it would be interesting for people to see exactly how. Now, I don't know if I actually am allowed to talk about the things I'm going to talk about in this video, but I'm going to do it anyway. So if I do get my contract with ESPN suspended, then make sure you subscribe so I can make a little bit of money that way. First, let's talk about the background of NIL. So NIL is just an acronym for name, image, and likeness. And basically what it means for all intents and purposes is that you as an NCAA player can now make money off your own name, image, and likeness, meaning that you can sign endorsement contracts, you can have sponsorships, you can create a brand around yourself. And the reason why this was so revolutionary is that if you follow college sports, no other time in history were you allowed to have that sort of control over your own image. As an NCAA athlete, that entity had control over monetizing your person. That was in the form of video games, in the form of commercial experiences. All of the money from you went to them. And obviously through the years, people were not okay with this. You had athletes fighting back for years and years and years, talking about how the NCAA were making billions off corporations, and all they wanted to do was take advantage of their own name, image, and likeness, and weren't necessarily even requesting money from the NCAA. You can see this in the past with people like Reggie Bush, who got in trouble for signing autographs for money, people who were receiving free crafts but ended up getting in trouble for that. Overall, it boiled down to just receiving gifts as an athlete could get you permanently suspended from the NCAA. I think one of the most famous examples on YouTube is going to be Destroying. He was a kicker for UCF, and he started a YouTube channel, and because he was using his image and the facility's equipment, the NCAA basically gave him an ultimatum where he could either shut his YouTube channel down or continue being a kicker. Obviously, all who follow him know the end of that story. He's a very successful YouTuber right now, and I'm pretty sure it's a safe bet to say that he's pretty happy that he followed his own dream. But let's go into my personal experience of NIL as an NCAA athlete. Now, as I said, I played basketball at Auburn University, and I was not the star player by any means. I was a role player, a very good role player at that. Don't get me wrong, I was pretty good. But my claim to fame and how I still have the opportunity to get paid for NIL was that in the year 2019, Auburn made the Final Four, and I was a starter on that team. So the Final Four in basketball, if you don't know, you probably do, is one of the biggest stages in college basketball. It's where the Final Four teams meet in the NCAA tournament to battle it out for a spot in the national championship game. I was lucky enough to be on that team, and because of that, I now have a contract with ESPN. So what does that look like? Well, for me, what my contract says is that anytime ESPN uses any of the footage from the Final Four that I'm featured in, I would get paid $2,500. And before you jump down my throat, that's too little of money. ESPN could have paid $10,000. Now, I know. I didn't have an agent. They reached out to me directly, and I still think that it's a pretty fair deal because I didn't put in any extra work for that money. I could have tried to squeeze the orange a little bit more, but hey, I don't think that I got the bad end of the deal. In fact, because our team was so unlikely to go to the tournament, pretty much any time that they talk about a Cinderella team, or anytime they talk about a team with an unlikely chance to make the tournament or make the Final Four, they use footage from our team, and I get sent a $2,500 check in the mail. And because it doesn't really matter how long I'm featured, the last tournament I was only featured for about 0.5 seconds in a commercial. I don't know if I can find a commercial or not. If I can, I'll put it up here. But I was literally featured in the blink of an eye, and I got $2,500. Like I said, I don't want to go too deep into the details of the contract because I don't know exactly how much I can reveal. But what I see it as is a great way to make passive income because I didn't do any extra work for that money, as well as I probably wouldn't have noticed if they not sent me the contract anyway. I guess I could have made a lawsuit about it, but how likely are you to win against a company like ESPN? But regardless of my specific contract, let's talk about exactly how different life was for college athletes back then versus now. I remember personally back in college, I was still making YouTube videos. Now, obviously, I couldn't make my YouTube videos with my face, with my name of Anfernee, or even with anything like this. So what I had was a pseudonym or a pen name by the name of Idea Investing that I used to make YouTube videos. Now, I tried to find this channel so I could feature some footage of it. I don't really know what happened to it. I guess I kind of deleted it after I stopped using it. But even back in college, before I had officially retired from the game of basketball, I was still making investing content on YouTube. I think that's why for people who knew me personally, when I actually said I didn't want to play basketball anymore, it was a great shock for them because they thought I was diving into something that was brand new that I didn't know anything about. But I was still on YouTube practicing my craft and making YouTube videos. It was just very bad videos, very PowerPoint style videos because I couldn't really use anything about me. The only thing I could use was my voice. But at the time of making those videos, I ended up getting about 250 subscribers in a couple months. And I remember specifically one day when I made a video about the Moneyline app. Moneyline is like a budgeting app that you can honestly borrow money from. And I just made a video explaining what the app did, how it worked, and that company reached out to me and offered to pay me $500 for an official sponsored video. At the time in college, because of cost of living, I was probably only making about $900 $500 a month. And for a company to come to me to offer me $500, which was over half of my monthly salary, to record a video for them, that sudden dopamine boost, it led me to want to pursue a career in YouTube full time. I mean, I'm probably still living off of that high now, and that's one of the reasons why I want to build this channel to 100,000 subscribers, 1,000,000 subscribers, and even beyond that. But the idea of making a full-time income of $50,000 to $60,000 from playing basketball just was not realistic for people in college back then. Now, there were people who were getting paid to play basketball. I'm not going to be here and say that, oh, no one at Kentucky got paid, or no one at Oregon, or no one even at Auburn got paid to play basketball. People got paid to play basketball if you were good enough, but they had to do it under the table, and it definitely wasn't for me. I wasn't that guy, pal. It wasn't me. But nowadays, I've heard stories of people actually having to take a pay cut by graduating college. Because the college atmosphere is so niche, it's so branded, and you can be so successful without having a quote-unquote NBA build. You can make generational wealth in the 4 years that you are in college now, versus back then where you had to postpone that by being in college for a year or two before you can make it to the big leagues. What I think is that even though you aren't directly getting paid from the NCAA, is that this opens the door for people to actually live in college. I mean, I don't expect every average college player to be making $250,000, $300,000 a year, but by making more than $12,000 a year, you're actually able to enjoy life a little bit more while you're being in college. Now, I don't want to get on this video and make you guys think that I'm trying to throw a pity party that said, oh, woe to me, I didn't take advantage. No, I could care less. My goals have moved past that now. What I'm focusing on in this video is that the reality of it is that even though there were a lot of blessings that come along with being a college athlete, like getting all your travel paid for, getting the full ride scholarship, and graduating for free, it still felt like a financial burden at times. I get how that can seem entitled, I really do. But me and my girlfriend at the time, who is now my wife, was living on about $60 a week for groceries because we just didn't have the money. It really was just that simple. But nowadays with college athletes, you can earn money through sponsored posts on Instagram and TikTok. You can earn money through direct endorsements. And honestly, if you are a high enough caliber player, you can realistically be a millionaire before actually getting your college degree. And how this affects the college landscape is a little bit here or there. I can honestly understand how you wouldn't be motivated to go to class if you had the opportunity to make millions of dollars without a degree. And what I personally think, and now this is my personal opinion, and I just thought about this pretty much a moment ago, is that if you are going to be pursuing NIL, then you really should not have college as a requirement for college athletes anymore. What is the use of being in college other than to play sports? I will argue that you're actually taking resources away from people who actually need it and who actually want to use their degrees versus someone who is only in college just to play sports. Now, as a college athlete, that can sound a little bit hypocritical, but college nowadays seem more as like a training rim versus a way to actually prepare someone for a real life after sports environment. But at the same time, I understand the appeal. America has always loved college sports and always will, so I don't think that any drastic changes will be effective. But as I'm starting to think about it, wouldn't it make more sense just to have a training league that you can actually funnel athletes to versus being in college, not going to class, and obviously not paying attention to the end goal of getting the degree rather than just playing sports so they can get to the NFL or the NBA? That's just my opinion. There's not much thought about it because, as I said, I just talked about it just a moment ago. But overall, my experience with NIL as a former college athlete has been a little bit hit or miss. I have seen some articles where former players filed some class action lawsuits in the past, but I haven't seen much progress on that. I guess it really boils down to, are you really deserve to get paid money that the NCAA generated off your name, image, and likeness? If the rules were the rules and you agreed to the rules when you signed your scholarship or your letter of intent, I mean, I can understand how people would assume that you're not entitled to any money. I don't think I'm entitled to money 4 years that I was playing because I understood what I was stepping into. They didn't make it a secret that they were going to make money off me. They told everybody that you can make money off yourself, and I signed that paper knowing full well what I was getting into. But then again, the experience and the opportunity to get a free education, to play on one of the biggest stages in college basketball, and the doors that it opened for me after I got my degree, I would say is fully worth it. That free college experience turned into a blossoming degree that I'm still working. It turned into freedom to hone in on skills that I'm now utilizing on this YouTube channel, and also helped me grow as a person because of the competitive nature and the physical and mental requirements of being a college athlete. So I definitely don't look back at my college experience and only think about the money that I missed out on, but instead I look at it with gratitude to know that the athletes nowadays are actually getting what they deserve in terms of NIL. If the NCAA wants to own the rights to all the broadcasting and all the games and all everything like that, that's fine. But if a company directly wants to support a player specifically or a team specifically, I think that they should be allowed to do that because that is independent of what actually goes on the court or on the field or on any field of play that you play on. However, if you found any kind of value in this video, then please tap the like button for your boy. I don't know if I talked about it, but this channel, I tend to talk about personal finance topics, investing topics, and also side hustle topics. And I do have a series on the channel called Side Hustle Saturday, where my goal is to make $10,000 exclusively doing side hustles, not doing anything else. If you want to follow along on that journey, I do have a playlist on the channel, as well as if you want to stick around for more personal financial content, just stick around here on this channel. And if you do, I'll see you in the next one, guys.